Yeah, welcome to Ringside Report MMA. Tonight on the show, we'll preview the Marvin Vettori, Jared Cannonier fight. Lots of Conor McGregor news and other stuff.
Let's go!
We talk about John Gotti and Floyd Mayweather. No, not that John Gotti. Different John Gotti. Uh-oh. I think AJ's been hanging with the Gottis. What is the deal?
Fast lane, man. That's a fast lane. It's been a crazy week.
Fast lane?
Grand Prix is fast lane living, man. That's what you get. Mayweather, John Gotti 3, man. That was a fiasco, man. I don't know if you saw the fight.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know why. Why? But anyways, an exhibition fight for Mayweather. He doesn't need the money, man. He's close to $1 billion if he's not already a billionaire. Why? And then, to be honest, man, you're fighting John Gotti the third, and now who's put out a vendetta on you?
Vendetta.
He put a vendetta, man. He says he basically says he became his mortal enemy, man.
Thanks.
In this lifetime, Mayweather is his mortal enemy. It's nuts, man. All kinds of crazy shit going on, man.
All right.
Fights in the ring. The best
Take it
fights
easy.
were actually the fights outside of the ring. Dude, the fights outside of the ring were like impressive, man. The Mayweather bodyguards, the Gotti guys, man, all going at it. A YouTuber that got arrested. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Who knows? Maybe they'll be at the F1 track. Montreal Grand Prix.
YouTuber getting arrested? I don't know who you're talking about.
Some girl, some popular YouTuber, influencer, some girl. She ended up like beating up on some other girl, and she got arrested. And
at the Mayweather John Gotti brawl.
At the brawl outside. It was insane, man.
Yeah. So John Gotti the third and Floyd Mayweather had a exhibition boxing match last weekend, and Floyd was doing his thing, you know, beating up this kid who really had no business being in the ring with Floyd, but he's got the name, and they decided to promote it in Miami, and they got people to show up. I watched the fight. It was crazy. I watched it after the fact when I heard, you know, that it actually happened and it degenerated into a complete mess. So I had to see the mess, and yeah, it was crazy because before the fight even starts, you see a bunch of these people outside the ring, and they're not moving, and they're like, we need to clear the ringside area because there's too many goons here. We need to get these goons out of here because we have to have this boxing match. And Floyd just kind of walking around the ring like da-da-da-da-da-da. And then the fight actually starts, and Floyd is beating up on this guy. And
those were the goons, man.
And he's playing
those
around.
Those were Gotti's goons.
Yeah. Gotti had goons. Floyd had goons. The money team. He's got a strong army of goons. And so Floyd is beating up on John Gotti, and it gets to a point where Floyd is kind of hitting him and, showboating a little bit, and John Gotti really doesn't like that. And you could tell, like, as the fight's going on, like at the beginning it's kind of cool and friendly, but as it goes on, you can see John Gotti, just his ego getting crushed as Floyd just picks him apart and really offers him no chance. And John Gotti can't do anything to Floyd Mayweather, obviously, but it seems like he thought he had a chance. I don't know what he thought going into this fight of sorts, but he got really mad. Like, you could see his ego getting checked. And you got to imagine, like, I'm watching this thinking, this guy, his name's John Gotti III. He's in shape. He's a big guy. He's a bit of a boxer. People probably walk on eggshells around this guy. Like, you're not going to disrespect John Gotti III because who knows what he's capable of. He might beat you up. He might send some goons after you to do a vendetta or something, Like, you never know, because his grandfather was, of course, a big crime lord in New York. Yeah, John Gotti, right? So it seemed like this guy, he couldn't compute with what was happening to him in the ring, and he kept clinching Floyd and clinching him, and he wouldn't let go, and the referee kept telling him to let go, and then eventually the referee just had enough and was like, all right, that's it. This fight is over, which I think was a bit premature from the ref. Just let it go, man. Separate them again. I see this in boxing all the time where the guys clinch up and you got to separate them, and they don't want to get separated, but they separate them and they move on. And this is an exhibition. Like, why the referee did that, I think, is a real question, because there's no need. It's an exhibition. It's all in fun. Yeah, it's getting a little testy in there. Yeah, they're clinching up a lot, but let them separate. Don't disqualify the guy. Don't end the fight like that. And that's how he did it, which really upset the crowd. And John Gotti, who started swinging wild haymakers at Floyd right after the referee stopped the fight. And Floyd real quickly was like, pop, 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 hit him 3 or 4 times between the haymakers, because he's a talented boxer who knows what to do when punches are being thrown. And he, you could tell John Gotti didn't like that. And then all the teams just jump in the ring, right? Like, everybody. And John Gotti III is trying to throw punches at everybody, and the money team is gigantic. Floyd has a crew of gigantic men, and John Gotti has a crew of, some angry-looking fellas. And they kind of got into it there in the boxing ring and backstage, and it just degenerated into a complete and total mess. But it's a freak show. It's a circus, and that's what you get when the circus comes to town.
But I'm going to tell you something, Dave.
Yeah, Fred. Fred hasn't spoken yet. I mean, come on.
I was going to say, I just want to correct AJ on one thing. If anything, Floyd is smart to do these exhibition fights with no risk, a lot of money. I mean, that's an easy payday for Floyd. Now, the rest of the shenanigans that happen after that, well, I don't know. That's a little too much for me. I don't have that much of an opinion on that. But Floyd, man, keep making the money and have no risk. And yeah, I'm still not very interested.
Freddie, he's got a vendetta on his head, man, now.
Yeah, there's risk,
think the risk is greater. There's a lot of risk, man.
Yeah.
You've got the Teflon Don number 3 who's upset. And I agree with you, Dave. I really think that as an exhibition fight, you're going to get a lot of shenanigans and all that kind of stuff.
Shenanigans?
And what is it called?
Shenanigans?
Shenanigans. I want to say shenanigans. Shenanigans. Whatever. All to say is it becomes a circus. And I think the ref, to be able to, that took away from the fight, he became the centerpiece, right? And he caused that fight. I think it was a bad move by the ref. Let them fight. They clinch up. Just by the time the rounds end, and you just carry it on. And that's it. And then you can declare a winner. Okay, Mayweather would have won by decision. Maybe he would have knocked out Gotti. Because when the melee happened there at the end, I agree with you. Mayweather was throwing some nice. He got it with the right hook at the end when Gotti went for the kill. But it could have got messy. Somebody could have died in that ring. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's a lot of people packing heat, ringside. And the thing is that it goes outside, and it could have got even more dangerous. And my opinion is to the John Gotti III is your goons there. They listen. If they're listening to me, this is Ferrari AJ. I'm going to tell you something. Learn how to throw punches, man, because the punches that you threw were terrible, man.
Wow.
And that's one thing. Listen, no, I'm being honest, man.
Here's the thing about fight sports, okay? Here's the thing about fight sports. The John Gotti goons, those guys, they're usually behind the scenes bankrolling the fighters. They're not the fighters themselves. Floyd Mayweather's goons, those are the fighters. So the money shouldn't go after the fighters, because the fighters are always going to beat up the money in a fight. You know what I'm saying? But the vendetta, that's another thing, because the money and the scariness and the bankroll could get a little testy.
Don't sleep with the fishes. Mayweather might be sleeping with the fishes. But then again, man,
you go to a funeral today, AJ? You go to a funeral today?
Hey, man, I can't say anything.
All right. You see
can't
pictures?
say anything.
I saw pictures.
What do you think AJ's wearing his glasses for?
Oh.
Listen, man, it's.
You know who I'm talking about?
It's been a crazy. Of course, dude.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it's a crazy time. It's a crazy time in Montreal, and Grand Prix weekend is here. This is a big weekend for F1 fans, and I'm sure John Gotti III is probably here in Montreal. So, don't get mad at me, and don't let his goons come after me, because I was just saying that they need a little bit of boxing help, because, like I said,
AJ can help. AJ can help, baby.
Listen, for sure, man.
All right.
We can get James Boom Boom and everybody to help these guys.
All right. We've given those jabronis enough time, Floyd Mayweather, whatever. I want to give a little bit of time to Fred and his fantastic shirt. I don't know if he wore this on purpose, but did you know the Waylon Jennings shirt that he's wearing? Did you know, Fred, today would have been Waylon's birthday?
Wow.
June 15th. So happy birthday, Waylon. June 15th, 1937. So that would make him, 80-something? Old, I guess.
86?
86? He would have been 86. Didn't
Listen,
quite make it.
It was Trump's birthday yesterday, and he's still hanging in his he's not 80 yet. I think he's in his 70s, but he's close. Trump!
Oh, my God.
Freddie.
Trump. AJ shouting out our Rumble viewers tonight.
Of course, man.
Don't bring me in your vote.
Yeah. Fred's not a Trump guy. I don't think. Fred goes a different direction. Fred
is a NASCAR fan. You know he's a Trump fan.
I mean,
Fred
there's a lot of options.
Participate in political theater.
Mm-hmm. I was listening to some right-wing talk radio the other day, because sometimes I like to listen to that in the car because it's amusing, from Vermont. And they were having a discussion. They were saying, is Trump worth the risk? And they were taking calls, from Republicans. Like, is he worth the risk to run him as the nominee? Should they maybe be looking at other people? So even on the right, AJ, there's some question, I think, as to whether or not Trump is the best choice for the Republican Party as the main nominee. There's Rick DeSantis. There's Nikki Haley. I learned all of this on the Fox News in a 10-minute drive to Walmart. It was pretty good. I was really fascinated, and then I turned off the radio
Rick.
And I went into Walmart. Found some Hot Wheels. It's pretty good. Huh?
Ron.
I'm not sure it's Rick DeSantis.
Ron DeSantis?
I know it's DeSantis.
I don't know. It
DeSantis.
Doesn't matter what his name is. He's a Rudy Poo, candy-ass jabroni. Who cares?
Hey, take it easy there.
What? They're all jabronis to me. They're all jabronis to me, AJ.
Political theater.
We have blackface Trudeau here in Canada, so what more do you want? What could be
He's
worse?
He's also a jabroni, massive jabroni. They're all jabronis, all right?
Only Trudeau would pull that shit off.
Probably.
Yeah,
I mean, I bet you there's some photos of Trump with blackface or some other incriminating photos of Trump. There's
photos. At this point here, they would have come on. Never, man. They would have been.
There's photos of Hunter Biden smoking crack or meth.
Okay, what would you rather have?
That's true.
What would you rather have available?
Girls, just saying.
What would you rather have Googleable of you? Okay, picture of you in blackface, awful, right? Bad. Or picture of you
that doesn't exist with Trump. Your example is not.
No, I'm giving you options. Fred, I'm giving you options. Let me fucking finish the and/or. You either have to have picture of you in blackface or picture of you smiling with Jeffrey Epstein. You know what I mean?
Listen, man.
Both shitty.
Listen, Dave. Dave,
Trump,
hold on a sec.
right, there's that
Wait,
picture
wait,
of him with Epstein. Not good. You don't want it doesn't matter. You could be
a lot of people have pictures
Nelson Mandela. You could be like the people that no one says anything
Dave
bad
Simon.
about, whatever,
Dave Simon.
whoever.
Dave Simon.
If your
hold on a
picture
sec,
with
hold on
Jeffrey
a sec.
Epstein is no good, it's no bueno.
Listen, sorry, Freddie, I got to interject here. I got to tell you something. AJ was shaking hands with Epstein's buddy, Prince.
Why do you always
Andrew
bring
at
that
one
up as a badge of
Because
honor,
I
you
could have
fucking
been on a
weirdo?
phone and you could have been saying, "Oh, AJ, look at AJ. He's been hanging with Epstein and
in your
and
case,
Prince
in your
Andrew."
case, I'm sure there are photos of you in blackface with Jeffrey Epstein just hanging out. If I know you well enough, that's probably what's going on. You and Epstein both in blackface, just like, hey guys, having a great time. AJ.
I don't know if Epstein did that.
AJ's
Epstein
had a
was,
long life. AJ's very old, and he's got many terrible, terrible stories and skeletons in the closet.
yeah.
Don't do any deep investigation on AJ, because you don't want to know what you'll find. There are things that I know are out there that are disturbing.
Robert De Niro, man. Listen, man. Do a check on
Exactly.
him. He could have sued me at one point. Shit happens, dude. That's all I'm saying. Shit happens.
Robert De Niro almost sued me one time. It was 1978, and we got into a bit of a fender bender.
No, I almost broke his ribs. But the thing is this. It was a mistake.
What is
it was
the
an
thing?
accident.
Do we have a thing?
Listen,
I think we
listen
should
to
talk
this. I
about
told
MMA
Harvey-
because I'm done with you.
Dave, wait, hold on a sec. Let me just finish that. I told Harvey Keitel, I said, Harvey, listen, when you get to Hollywood or wherever you go and you meet De Niro, because they're friends, right? I said, could you do me a favor? Can you apologize to him? And he's like, what? I said, yeah, man, because let me tell you a little story about, way back in the hotel industry when I was like, riding carts.
Are you telling this story now to us? Are we gonna have to listen to a story? I don't.
No. Listen, all
Fred,
I can say is I
don't have
accidentally
patience
hit
for
the guy.
stories. I'm
Listen,
like,
no, but wait. I accidentally hit De Niro, and he smashed into an elevator. And I told Keitel, I said, if you tell that to De Niro, for sure he's going to remember me. Just tell him it was AJ. Because he didn't know me back then. I wasn't AJ back then. I was just like, a young guy working in the hotel as a bellman. And, shit happens, man. But true story. I clocked De Niro good, man. How can he forget me? Me and Harvey are like this now.
like this,
Like this.
like your X-Men together. I don't know.
We're
I don't know
tight,
what that
dude.
is. I think it's like this.
You wouldn't know, Dave.
It's with the fingers usually.
Bro, I don't know about that.
You don't
I
get
wouldn't want
any
those
expressions
fingers anywhere.
right. Like even non-verbal things you get wrong. It's very strange. You have something
What are you
going on
talking
with you,
about?
non-diagnosed. I don't know what it is, but you need a diagnosis,
Yeah.
I think.
Don't be. Yeah.
Fred, I'm right. You know what I mean? Like there's something going on with
Remember
him. Like,
that word? I'm not going to say it, but remember that word that they used at jiu-jitsu this week?
yeah, okay. Well, that guy who used that word,
What, rhinoceros?
yeah. I hear a lot of words at jiu-jitsu, and I'm like, and they're like younger guys, and I'm like, wow, I thought you weren't allowed to use those words anymore. I'm like, what the
What
hell
word
is
did he
going
use,
on?
man?
Oh my god, I can't
curious
say
now.
them because I'm
Say
not
it. Freddie,
you're not
say it.
supposed to use those words in polite society, but some people at
What?
jiu-jitsu don't seem to care, and they just say these words, and I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, whatever, I guess. I don't
Now
participate.
you know why. Now you know why Dave is like a liberal. But I'm going to tell you something. What did he say, man?
You don't want to know.
Freddie,
Say
tell
it.
me, man.
We can't
Say
say
it.
We
Freddie wants to
actually
say it.
can't. We can't. We'll
Freddie
get
wants
kicked
to
off
say it.
the YouTube. We'll get kicked off Kick. We're on Kick now.
What the hell's Kick, man? Kickbacks.
It's a thing.
Mafia.
Kick.com.
Run by
It's
John
a-
Gotti.
It's a thing we're streaming on. Okay? Kick.com/Ringside Report Network. It is a thing. We're streaming on there right now. So welcome to all of our new Kick viewers.
Kickers.
Kick it off, man. I love it.
We're on Rumble, Kick, YouTube,
Twitch.
Facebook.
Twitter? Are we on
Twitter,
Twitter like
Instagram.
Tucker?
Of course,
Yeah,
we're on
Twitter,
Twitter
yeah,
like Tucker Carlson. I don't
course,
follow
man.
Tucker Carlson, but for some reason
should,
on the like
man.
for
You can learn
you
some stuff.
stuff, I saw his show like pops up on my Twitter. I'm like, why is this happening? And I started watching it. I was like, what is this? Because I don't agree with most of the shit that those guys say, but I do like watching them because I'm like, oh, this is fascinating, And he was really saying some nonsense. I was like, "Oh, this is crazy, Tucker." Like they got me for the first 2 minutes, and then they say some other shit, and I'm like, "What? That's not at all true." Like that's
How
they
do
start
you know it's
making
not
sense.
true?
I'm like, okay, and then they say something. I'm like, yeah, no, that's incorrect.
But
It's
how
just
do you know
wrong.
it's not true? It could be true, dude. What are you, Mr. Fact Checker?
Well,
come
I
on,
just
man.
know
Let's be
what's true and I know what's not true. And I know
I'll
when
tell you what-
people are framing things to fit their arguments, and
Listen,
I see
that
through
sounds-
bullshit.
Now we could go into our next part of our show. Connor, you're talking about
Oh, okay.
things
Well,
that
I don't
might
think
not
you
be
should be
true.
allowed to
Let's get into
comment
the
on this
Connor.
matter. Honestly, given your
I want to.
comments before the show about Connor and all these allegations that I don't think you should be commenting.
Why is
I
he
don't-
knocking out mascots?
Yeah.
Wrong with Connor.
That was last week, Fred. Where were you? Were you not on the show
Well,
last week? You were here, no?
No.
Oh, you weren't
Fred
on the
was there.
watch along. We did the replay
No.
because it happened Saturday, and we broke it down quite a bit on the watch along Saturday. But Fred was not here.
Beautiful.
By the way, if you missed our watch along and if you missed UFC 289, Team Dave
Beautiful.
Parlay cashed in, so that was pretty good. And Amanda Nunes is not fighting anymore. She retired. I don't know if you heard about
Sad.
that. Pretty big news.
Yeah, Freddie. And the mascot's okay, Freddie. Just
Yeah,
to
the
let you know, he's
mascot is
back.
okay, but
He's
Connor
back
got
used
into
up.
he got into all sorts of trouble at that Miami Heat game because he not only punched that mascot, he also is now being accused of a sexual assault, and the details are really
Sketchy.
horrific. But I'm not sure what actually happened. It seems odd because
Sketchy.
the woman that is going after Connor doesn't seem to want to go the a criminal route. She seems to want to just go for money right off the bat, which
Just pay her
I mean,
off.
I don't know. It seems interesting. So there was some sort of altercation, so she says, in a bathroom where the Miami Heat security led her into a bathroom.
Yeah, right.
And then Connor emerged like a villain from a handicap stall or a disabled
What?
person stall. I don't know what you're supposed to say. And then he proceeded to kiss her forcibly and try to sodomize her somehow, according to the reports from TMZ. And Connor also had a bodyguard in the room present. And the Miami Heat security escorted this lady to this room so that Connor could do this. She is claiming it's an odd story, and it seems like maybe the lawyer representing this lady has been accused of. This is a report from MMA Fighting that I read where the lawyer has kind of gone after people for money and has paid people or has been accused of paying people off to say that certain bad things happened when they didn't, so that they could get a big payoff. So it's sketchy, but
That's what
the
happens
thing
when
is,
you have
it's not the
money.
first time Connor's been accused of something like this, so there's that part. Nothing has
Fourth time,
stuck.
by the way.
There's nothing that's
Fourth
stuck
time.
with Connor with all of this. He's never been to jail for a sexual assault or rape, but there have been stories over the past few years about him in this light and female accusers. Now, whether or not that comes with money and fame and partying, I don't know, because I'm not as rich and famous as Conor McGregor, but
if you were,
you'd
you'd be getting charges, bud.
I don't
But
think
listen,
so.
man, that's the
If
shame
I
of it.
were,
And
I
that's
would disappear. I would not be famous anymore. If I was rich as Conor McGregor, you'd never see my ass. You'd be like, what happened to Dave? I think he died. I don't know, because you'd never see me again.
sounds like Epstein. But listen, I'm going to tell you something. Listen,
No,
I'm gonna
not
tell you
like that. I'd be on an
Okay, man, I'm
island
just
with
saying.
kids, but they would be my kids, and we'd be hanging out, not doing anything weird. All right, Jesus.
Listen, and that's the problem when you have like riches and fame and a guy like Connor. And let's be honest, everywhere that Connor goes, there's a camera there. Connor goes to take a piss, people are they're filming him. I mean, the guy has no privacy. Let's be honest, and especially with the Melly, with the mascot and all that kind of stuff. That's the problem. People want money, and they're gonna go after it. And Connor's he's a good victim in a sense.
Okay, but that's what you say. But hang on,
but if it's
because
real,
you don't know
then it
that
should
for
be
a
jailed.
fact. Like, the thing is, AJ, and this is why I didn't want you commenting on this, is because you're going to go straight up, Conor didn't do this, he's just out for
I didn't say
money,
Conor
it's
didn't do
bullshit,
that. I just find it-
but you don't
No,
know
no, I
that
just-
for a fact, so you got to tread
You're right.
lightly, be careful, because who knows,
Allegedly.
maybe he did rape this woman in a bathroom, and if he did, and you're out here defending him, you look like a dick. So be careful.
No, I agree with you. Listen, and I told you straight, if he did something wrong, he should be jailed. But the
Well,
problem is that wherever Conor goes, there's media. And it's like that. It's, you know what? Conor does it like, look, most guys that do that kind of shit buy an island. And I just have a hard time, with Conor, like, visible to everybody. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense.
Freddie?
Well, I mean, the fact that the police is investigating, like, they must somewhat believe or at least think that
They have no choice,
it
right?
warrants. Yeah, exactly. That it warrants. But I mean, if they're investigating, that's probably means that they're doing several tests, whether
Sure.
physical tests for the lady after the event. So we'll have answers, and we'll see what happens. And look, Conor likes to party. Conor has that, like, attitude. He's a personality that's all out. So he puts himself as a target when you do that. Like Dave said, if I had his kind of money, I'd be, like, at home, chilling, smoking weed, and not doing much.
Basically what you're doing now, so nothing would change.
Yeah,
Just a bigger
exactly.
house, probably.
Yeah, bigger house.
Pretty much the same, man.
Exactly. I'd be the same way. The Miami Heat, I mean, people are taking this seriously, AJ, so whatever you think is whatever, but the
Listen,
Miami Heat...
I think it's got to be investigated.
The Miami Heat, this happened in their arena, and they're being accused of being a part of this and helping. They released the following statement about Conor McGregor. We are aware of the allegations and are conducting a full investigation. Pending the outcome of the investigation, we will withhold further comment, which makes sense. But there's
They get sued for
security.
anything in the
If
States.
security's involved, like, so many people are going to get questioned. Somebody's going to, like,
Sure.
if there's somebody that did something bad, somebody's going to be snitching quick enough. So we'll
Exactly,
see.
man. And let's be honest, man. Like, there's so many cameras all over the place. If it's not mobile cameras, it's like the security cameras. There's so much that could link everything. And she called law enforcement right away and did all this and whatnot. So they have no choice to investigate the matter. And you're right.
Okay.
They're gonna look at it. And you know what? Again,
Well-
this is the fourth or fifth time Conor's been accused of something. One dropped the case a while ago because it was obviously, like, false. The thing is that's what happened.
One, I think, in
What?
Ireland was settled in a civil suit, and we don't know because the results are sealed. We don't know what actually happened, but it's possible that at one point Conor did have to pay somebody off for something he did. Like, it's not
possible.
clear because the laws in Ireland are that they don't release that information to the public, but there was, like, a civil suit. Somebody sued him for money in Ireland because of some sort of sexual assault or whatever that he supposedly had done. And there was a result, but we don't know the result of the suit. So, I don't know. There's a lot of accusations that come to this guy, and you start to wonder, like, well, is he doing something or is he not? Like, it's not clear. And if you look at him and his public persona, knocking out mascots and acting a fool and being a drunken lunatic all the time and punching people and throwing dollies through buses and all the shit that he does, you kind of think, yeah, I could see that. He seems nuts. Right? He seems
But
a
didn't
little wonky.
Didn't they say that about Conor at the last bare knuckles when apparently he groped some, like, the boxing champion? You remember that whole thing? That kind of came up and then it kind of disappeared. Just at the last bare knuckles with Mike Perry and all that. Conor was there and drinking his whiskey and all that kind of stuff. And apparently an article came out. You can check it up right now that he groped one of the female, like, top boxers.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. But there's definitely you start
Does
to
he
wonder.
think he is Vince McMahon?
Yeah, exactly. You start to wonder, what is going on? How much truth is there to these allegations? And I'm not so quick to dismiss it. Like, there are some parts of this story that make me go, maybe it's bullshit. But then there are other parts of the story and the pattern of accusations to Conor that make me go, yeah, I wouldn't completely dismiss it. There may be something here which could be real bad for everybody involved. So, yeah, it's a story definitely to keep watching because people are talking about it, people are reporting on it, and people are investigating which is the most important part of the whole thing.
Listen.
And we got other Conor news, too. I don't know if you know, but he's still not in the USADA testing pool, so he's not fighting in 2023. It's over. Like I said,
man,
I've been saying this for how long? All year I've been saying this. He's not in the testing pool. He's not going to fight this year, and he'll never fight Michael Chandler. I've been saying this shit for months now, and at this point, we're mid-June. It's fucking over. He's not in the testing pool. He's got to be in it for 6 months and test clean for 6 months before he can fight in the UFC. He's not fighting this year. He may never fight again.
Man, did you hear what Mark Hunt said? Listen to what Mark Hunt said. He goes, you know what? How come Dana doesn't give an exemption to Conor like he did with Brock? I mean, anything's possible, Dave. You know, depending on what happens with this action.
They didn't give an exemption to Brock. No, they didn't.
With the Mark Hunt fight?
No, they didn't.
According to Mark Hunt.
Well, according to Mark Hunt, but Mark Hunt sued the UFC because he was super pissed. According to Mark Hunt, see, you don't actually remember the story, or maybe you never knew the story, but what happened was Brock was tested for 6 months, and he tested clean. There was one test that was close to the fight that tested positive. But that test, the results were only known after the fight. But Mark Hunt thought that the UFC knew about the results and was withholding the results and sued the UFC because of it, and I believe lost because that wasn't the case. So there was no exemption for Brock. He tested negative. He tested negative. He still fought, but then after the fight, when they realized, oh, this was a positive test that we just got the results for after the fact, well, they changed the fight into a no contest that was originally a win for Brock Lesnar. There was no exemption for Brock, AJ.
You can believe what you want, Dave.
What do you mean I can believe? You mean the facts? Don't fuck with me, AJ. What do you mean I can believe what I want? I just told you. I just told you the actual facts of the story and what happened, and you're saying, "Oh, you could believe what I want." See, typical AJ.
That's what Mark Hunt. Listen, man, Mark Hunt disagrees with you, but I'm just saying.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't disagree with me.
But he lost
you don't understand what Mark Hunt is saying. That's actually what's going on. You're confused. You have reading comprehension issues.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever
Mark Hunt
said.
Like you can win elections. But I'm just saying, man, anything could be doctored, man. Like, I don't believe it. I think the UFC did know, and obviously Brock Lesnar is a bigger name than Mark Hunt. That's all I'm saying.
Fred,
it's possible.
Help me.
I was going to say, whatever Mark Hunt is saying, he lost in court, man. And didn't he also lose where he has to pay the UFC for their legal fees and all that?
Possibly.
So, in the end, he fucking lost bad, man. Mark Hunt, that was a bad move.
Yeah, because the UFC didn't provide an exemption for Brock Lesnar. AJ?
Whatever. Yeah, they had better lawyers.
Whatever.
That's it. More money, But listen, man, it is what it is. You could believe the world's round, or you could believe it flat.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Oh,
man.
yeah, sure. You could believe the world's round, or you could believe it's flat. You could be right, or you could be a fucking idiot. It's your choice. Team Dave or Team AJ?
No, I don't believe the world's flat, you crazy bastard. I'm just saying that there's...
Saying? What kind of options are those?
I think the lawyers were better on the UFC side. Deeper pockets, able to control a lot more. Mark Hunt has a lot of money, but not that much. He doesn't have Dana White money. He doesn't have Fertitta money. Just saying.
I'm not saying you're a fucking idiot. I'm saying if you think the world is flat, you're a fucking idiot. Like, what?
Say that to Gracie to his face, man.
Which one? I'll say it to every one of them.
Who was the last one that was saying that? What's
Whoever
his name?
thinks the earth is flat.
It was Kron. Yeah, it was Kron Gracie.
Well, he's pretty dumb. I'll just bring Charles Jourdain with me so he can, back me up.
Kick his ass. That's a good.
Yeah.
You got a point. You got a point. Who's going to be fighting soon, by the way? Good Charles, man. And
Conor's not fighting. No Conor fight this year, okay? He's not fighting. His team on Ultimate Fighter is now 0-3. They keep getting smoked. Every week you see Conor McGregor's fighter losing. You see Conor still not in USADA. And you see the Conor McGregor MMA career coming to a close, I think. But here's a question. If you're Michael Chandler, what do you do? Because you could wait for Conor, but you may be waiting forever, and he may never fight you, and in that case, you're waiting and waiting and waiting, and you never fight again. Or do you at some point say, okay, if I don't have the Conor fight by, March 2024, I got to start looking at other options? Do you look at other options, or do you wait for the life-changing money? Because there's nobody that Michael Chandler is going to fight that's going to be worth the same as Conor McGregor. He's going to make way more, you would think, fighting a Conor than he would fighting anyone else. So it's a
hard,
tough
dude.
decision.
It's hard.
It's tough.
Only if he gets pay-per-view points, and he might be getting pay-per-view points, but I would expect Conor is the guy getting the bigger paycheck from that matchup.
Yeah.
So of course it's a big payday for Chandler, but is it worth putting a year of your life on hold and not making no money during that year? I'm not sure about that. If I'm Chandler, I'm probably looking at another fight right now.
How old is Chandler right now? 35? 36?
Something like that.
Somewhere
Maybe.
around there.
I think
that's
he's
the problem.
over 35.
So the thing is that can you wait another year, a year and a half, maybe
He's
even 2 years?
37, man.
It.
He's 37.
37.
Right, come on.
So time is ticking, and Chandler is like a beast. He's so well conditioned, a great fighter. I love watching him fight. But you're right, the money is with Conor. But I'll be honest. On a serious note, I joke around and everything. I love Conor. I want to see Conor fight. I think Conor brought more to the UFC than any other fighter.
Yeah, we know. We know you love Conor. We get it.
Of course. Look behind
everybody
me, man.
knows. Yeah.
But the thing is this. Listen to me on this. The problem with Conor right now is he's talking. He said a few things that raised a flag for me, and I'm like, oh man, this doesn't look good. And USADA thing and all that. That doesn't worry me as much because I know Dana White can always make it happen. But Conor's talking the movies. Now he's talking he's doing movies and he wants to be a movie star, and we know where that goes. I mean, that's his next step. He wants to be on the big screen. What?
You know what? All these things this week made me think of Conor is if you're the WWE, are you even interested, man? Can you trust him? Can he he might just go crazy and go off script whenever. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. Conor,
the mascot
he's
knows.
a little bit of a.
I don't think he's worth the price tag for the WWE. First, I don't think he would do enough business for WWE to warrant paying him what he would want to show up, right? And also, that mascot shot, that was supposed to be a worked punch. The guy went to the fucking hospital, and he's wearing a mascot suit. You can't trust Conor McGregor in a worked situation like the WWE where you're not supposed to throw live rounds. If he's throwing live rounds and hitting people for real, shit, man, you're going to have some real problems. Like I said on Saturday night, if Conor McGregor walks into WWE, he's supposed to just punch Roman Reigns, but he winds up knocking Roman Reigns unconscious with one punch. You got some major issues on your hand. Right? So Conor McGregor is not Logan Paul, who you can kind of control and, or Bad Bunny. Conor McGregor is a dangerous man, and if he decides to let loose, and he's also, kind of a loose cannon. So it's hard to control a guy like that. Yeah, I don't think the WWE is a place for him. I don't know what the place is for him. I don't think it's movies. I don't think he's an actor. I think he'll be fine playing himself or a version of himself in a movie or two, but I don't see him having a movie career. I don't see him going to WWE. It seems like fighting is the only thing for him, but is it anymore? I don't know. I really don't know. But it's his show, and he gets to dictate the terms, right? If he wants to come back to the UFC, he knows what he's got to do. He's got to enter the USADA testing pool, and for some reason, he hasn't. And I think that's an interesting question. Why is this guy still not getting drug tested? This Ultimate Fighter season started a month ago. He recorded it at the beginning of the year. He knew this Michael Chandler fight was going to happen, or at least was supposed to happen, and he never started getting drug tested. I remember back in March, I feel like he was saying he was going to enter real soon, and it still hasn't happened. And it's like Conor told Michael Chandler at the beginning of the show, they're talking about the fight, and Chandler's like, oh, it's good you came and you took the fight, and Conor's like, yeah, I'm big, I'm huge. It's going to be at 185. And Chandler's like, oh, if you want to do it at 185, we can. I'm down with that. We can do that. And Conor goes to him, you'll do what you're told. And that's exactly how this fight is working out. That's exactly how this whole thing is working out. It's on Conor's terms. And Michael Chandler will do as he's told because he wants to fight Conor McGregor. And Conor knows that. So he's making him wait. Just making him wait. Like Floyd Mayweather made John Gotti the third wait to get into the ring. This guy, John Gotti, got into the ring, waits 10 minutes, 15 minutes for Floyd to walk out because that's what you do. It's part of the gamesmanship. It just seems like Conor's doing a whole lot of it. I think Conor's waiting until Chandler ages out of his usefulness, and then he'll attack him because he's like 3 years younger than him, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe he's icing him out. He thinks, well, if he's inactive for a while, getting a little older, getting a little softer, catch him sleeping. Take the fight on my terms. I don't know what the plan is with Conor. Like, is this a plan? Is this gamesmanship, or is he just addicted to steroids or something, and he doesn't want to get USADA tested? Like, what is the deal? It seems odd for a guy who says he wants to fight that he's not doing the things that he needs to do to actually fight. Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
it doesn't seem clear why Conor is not in USADA.
Well, Conor's smart enough to know that he needs to do those things if he wants to be able to compete against a guy like Chandler. So, if anything, him not taking the steps of having a real training camp and being like really in fighting shape, that might be his logic behind that. He doesn't really want to fight this fight right now anyways. He's smart enough to know that Chandler probably beats him right now. Throughout, no matter how delusional he is, he knows right now he's not at his peak shape. He can't be, man. I'm sorry. You can't be partying all over the place.
Freddie, did you see the shove that Conor did on Chandler? Did you see that shove? Dave, you saw that shove? Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, Chandler flew, man. And that's the thing with Conor. You guys
so what?
It doesn't matter. But what I'm trying to say is, Conor, listen, if you underestimate Conor, man, and I'm surprised. Okay, he hasn't won in like 6 years. Let's be honest. But the thing is that
he hasn't fought in two.
And it was Donald Cerrone.
Yeah, he hasn't fought in two. The last time we saw him fight, he got his leg broken by Dustin Poirier, and that was 2 years ago. And it'll be over 2 years when he actually does fight because, like I said, he can't fight for at least another 6 months, and that's not happening. Like, at the best we could do is a January 2024 fight for Conor. So that's 2.5 years away from the game. 2.5 years away from the game when he's already taken a ton of time off in between with the Mayweather fight and the this and the that.
And that's exactly what I think is going to happen, Dave.
He's going to retire.
That I don't know if he's going to retire. He might just step away from the game again, but he's going to do something again on the lines of an exhibition. I think he's talking Mayweather again. He wants to have that fight over. He was like talking like with the John Gotti team and like supporting them and whatnot. Conor's always in the middle of things. And you know what? I could see him doing some exhibition fight in boxing before he has another MMA fight. Obviously, it's not happening this year. Might not happen next year. But it could happen in boxing, and
yeah, whatever. He's a fight personality. He's not a fighter. He's a personality in fighting, like Floyd.
Yeah, you're
right. Not taking real fights. Not really. Michael Chandler's too real of a fight for him. He needs to do something a little less real. And maybe he's realized that. Maybe he's getting his ass kicked in the fucking training room, and he's like, man, I'm not up for this anymore. Fuck it. This is not good. I signed up for this Michael Chandler fight, and I think I'm fucked here. I probably should back out and just live a nice, comfortable life because I have hundreds of millions of dollars, and why the fuck am I doing this to myself? Because, yeah, that's logical. If I were Conor, I'd be like, yeah, I got $200 million. I'm not going to fight Michael Chandler. That guy's a fucking monster. No, thank you.
Man, I don't know. It's a hard one to say, man.
I want to see Conor. I think he should retire. He's 34 years old. What the hell, man? He's got 3 kids. He's got all the money in the world. Why take the abuse? He's not going to beat Michael Chandler. He's going to get beat up. And if he knows that, what the fuck? Why take the abuse? Why ruin your brain? Why take the brain damage? Like, why not live happily ever after, super rich and cool. What's the point? What does he have to prove
Conor
anymore?
forever,
He's got
man.
nothing
That's
to
the
prove.
point. Conor forever. That's the point,
that's
man.
ego.
And, yeah, that's it. And that's what carries him through, and that's what got him like through this fight game, and that's what made him like the status that he has. No other fighter is on like Netflix. There's no other fighter that has documentaries based on him. 2 of them, in fact. You know, that's the difference.
He's
Conor
the biggest star
like,
the sport has ever seen, but no one is ever going to confuse him with the greatest of all time or the number 1 pound for pound, right? I mean, he's a big star, great fighter and all, but he's not going to go down as the greatest of all time. I think the greatest of all time is Jon Jones. And if you want to debate me, you can, but you will be wrong.
That's one word.
Jon Jones.
Pay-per-view. One word. Tell me if Conor. Tell me one pay-per-view that Jon Jones has had that's beat Conor. Just give me one. Give me one, Dave.
Give me one time Conor McGregor defended a world title. Just once. One title defense. How about that?
Top 10 pay-per-views of all time, Conor's on 8 of them.
Who gives a shit? If
Money
Tom
talks,
Cruise
dude.
fought fucking Matt Damon on pay-per-view tomorrow, it would fucking sell millions of pay-per-views, but no one's going to confuse them with fucking good fighters. What are you talking about?
Listen, man, I agree with you. Jon Jones is, well, it depends on, like
He's
I said,
the greatest of all time.
I disagree with you.
Yes,
but
Islam Makhachev says Jon Jones shouldn't be number 1 pound for pound. Cyril Gane is like not a champion. He beat him at heavyweight. What's Jon Jones ever done? I should be number 1 for pound. And I go, hey, Islam Makhachev, chill out, dude. Okay, you're very good. You're beating 155ers, and you're excellent at that. You had a lot of trouble beating the 145-pound champion, and you're the 155 champion. So how does that compute in your world, Islam Makhachev? A lot of trouble. Also, you've lost in the UFC. Jon Jones has never. And Jon Jones was beating fools, winning world championships before you were ever in the UFC, Islam Makhachev. Jon Jones debuted in the UFC in 2008. And I did the math, guys. That's 15 years ago. Jon Jones has been undefeated, undisputed champion for like 15 years in the UFC. 15 years undefeated. An entire career undefeated. Crushing top contender after top contender, legend after legend, going up to heavyweight after 3 years away and smashing another fool in way less time than it took Francis Ngannou. And I don't know who wants to argue that Jon Jones isn't the best ever. If Islam Makhachev wants to do it, you know, that's fine. I like his confidence. But Jon Jones is number 1 pound for pound. Jon Jones is greatest of all time. I don't know why Islam's going after him. I think it's because he was on Daniel Cormier's podcast when he said those statements. So I think he was just trying to, you know, buddy up with DC. Him and DC were just trying to shit-talk Jon Jones. But the whole world of MMA kind of took notice, and I think a lot of us were like, whoa, Islam. Like, you're real good and all, and you're the best 155er, and that's cool, but well, you got to bring Jon Jones into this. He's the greatest of all time.
Until Jon Jones loses, he's number 1 on the pound-for-pound list.
Yeah.
I mean, Islam has 1 title defense, right, against Volk. That's the only time he defended, so come on, Islam.
Come on, man. I mean,
start by passing Khabib in that like totem pole, and after that we'll talk.
Yeah, he's not quite Khabib level. He's 24-1. He's incredible. He beat Charles Oliveira. He beat Alexander Volkanovski. But come on,
he beat
man.
Volkanovski, man. That's a big one right there, man. And you know what? He's 24-1, man.
Jon Jones beat Daniel Cormier twice. Daniel Cormier.
Yeah, you're right.
Cyril Gane.
Yeah.
Alexander Gustafsson. Shogun. Lyoto. I mean, come on.
No, you're right. I agree with you.
Rampage. Rashad. I mean, the fucking legends. You know, Vettori. The legends that this guy put away.
Chael Sonnen. Even though Chael Sonnen's undefeated, Jon Jones has a win over him.
That's right. Chael's never lost, yet Jon Jones has defeated him somehow. Uncle Chael. Gotta love him.
Chael's the best, man.
He beat everybody, okay? Jon Jones is the greatest of all time. Islam needs to relax.
I didn't expect we were going to talk Jon Jones, but I fell on that. I was on YouTube, and I fell on that grappling fight he did with Dan Henderson. He fucking dominated Dan Henderson, who's an Olympic wrestler, man.
Yep.
Oh, John Jones is the greatest.
Oh, he's so good. It's crazy. Like, could you imagine being undefeated in the UFC, fighting the best in the world, some of the best of all time, for 15 years? Has anyone ever done that? Like, I know he's taken time off here and there, whatever, but still, just to start 15 years ago and still 15 years later be at the peak of the sport, better than everybody by far? Dude,
Yeah, you got a point.
that's
Yeah, you got a point.
crazy. No one's done that. No one. Not even, like, a good run in the UFC. You're on top for like 2-3 years. 5 years is like you're one of the greatest ever. 15 years, like, it's unheard of. It's ridiculous.
We won't see that again in our lifetime, honestly.
Nope.
Like, let's say we live another 50, 60 years if we're lucky.
Yeah.
We're not going to see that. We're not going to see another 15-year run of excellence like that.
No.
No, but he
John
needs
Jones.
to beat one. He needs to beat one guy, like in the heavyweight division. That's always going to be like the boogeyman behind him. And
What?
you know, there's this one
You
guy.
think he needs to
that's
beat
roaming out there.
Ngannou?
Yep.
Oh,
He
please.
needs to beat Ngannou.
Ngannou needs to beat him. John Jones
Hey,
is
listen,
the A
man.
side of that fight, dude. I don't know what you're looking at. I don't know how you see things. I mean, I know you don't like John Jones and you're a John Jones hater.
No, I
But
told
in
you,
my
John Jones
opinion,
impressed me.
in my opinion, and I think in the opinion of a lot of MMA observers, John Jones is the #1 heavyweight fighter on the planet, and Francis Ngannou is #2. That's how I see it. I see John Jones 1, Francis 2. If anybody has to beat anybody to prove themselves, it's Francis having to beat John Jones. I don't see John Jones needing to beat Francis because, and I know MMA math doesn't check out and there's 2 different fights, but if you look at the Cyril Gane fights for both guys, Francis Ngannou had a lot of trouble beating him. Even AJ would tell you he had a real problem, and if he wouldn't have taken him down in the 5th
Lost the
round,
5th.
Cyril might have won a decision. So it was a real close fight that Francis won by decision. John Jones went in there with Cyril and was like, psh, easy, choke, over, 1 round, half a round. Come on, man. Like, that's why I see John Jones as the greatest heavyweight in the game today, because I think if he were to fight Francis Ngannou, it would go a very similar way to the Cyril Gane fight. He would take him down, and it would be a wrap pretty quick, because I don't think those guys have the grappling to deal with John Jones. I really
Look,
don't.
man, but everybody wants to see that, man. I want to see that. I'm sure Dana White wants to see that. You know, like,
I'm good.
listen, I'm good if it happens. You know,
Well, I would for sure watch it, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't need to see John Jones versus Francis Ngannou because I don't think it really proves much. Like, I don't need it.
Does. I think it does because it'll be something that people are going to keep talking about for years
Well, it
after
won't happen,
Jones
so.
retires from the heavyweight. Listen, man, it could happen. It could.
Happen. Anything could
You know?
happen, AJ. You may walk on the moon one day, but, you know, it won't happen.
You never know, Dave. You never know, man.
Okay.
You know, but you know,
Can
he's still
we
there.
send you to the moon?
I'm sure you can with a lot of weed. But listen, I'm going to tell you this. I'd love to see that fight because if Jones can like manhandle Ngannou the way he did to Cyril Gane, like you say, man, hands down, the greatest fighter of any combat sport. You know, boxing, Muay Thai, kickboxing.
Yeah, but if he even if he
would be
does,
considered the
AJ, like
greatest
this
of
is the
all.
thing,
I mean,
man. Even if he beats Francis and finishes him in like 30 seconds, you'll still find a reason to say, well, if he does this, he'll be more, you know? Like, you always
after he defeated Cyril Gane, you were all like, oh yeah, okay, he's the best, but give you a couple of weeks and now you find excuses and
That's it.
I'm telling you, I still think right now,
Exactly.
John Jones, there's no one in the heavyweight division that can beat this guy right now. I agree with you on
Except
that.
Francis, you think?
I'm not saying that he can't beat Francis, but I want to see that fight happen. And if he can manhandle him the way he did, like he did to Cyril Gane,
Yeah. You see,
I can't dispute it for the rest of my life. I cannot dispute that there might have been someone who was greater.
you see Tyson Fury is like, I'll fight Francis Ngannou and John Jones in one night.
Yeah.
How about that? Bah, bah, bah. And I'm like, yeah, but like in a boxing match, and you won't actually, because who would do that or sanction it for a pay-per-view? It makes no sense. Why not separate them and make more money? It's totally stupid. So it's just a joke. But I feel like Tyson Fury is talking about John Jones and Francis Ngannou more and more because he realizes that that's how he get clicks on his Instagram, and that's when people are talking about him when he's talking about these UFC stars, because the boxing fights that he could possibly be talking about against other boxers aren't really moving the needle, and maybe he's not that interested. But he seems to be talking about John Jones a hell of a lot, and I think that John Jones is a far more important and impressive combat sports figure than Tyson Fury. I am far more impressed with the accomplishments of John Jones over Tyson Fury. I think John Jones is a far better all-around fighter than Tyson Fury, and I don't think that Tyson Fury or John Jones needs to box Tyson Fury. I think Tyson Fury should come over to MMA and try his hand at a real fight with John Jones. Or really, I'd have more respect with, like, Tyson Fury could box John Jones and knock him out in a minute or whatever, which won't happen, but he could. But I'd have more respect if he went into the UFC and fought like the 50th best heavyweight in the world and got his ass kicked. You know, like, I'd have more respect if he actually put his money where his mouth is and fucking tried a real MMA fight rather than try to get these MMA fighters to come over to boxing. Like, it's enough with Tyson Fury, and I like Tyson Fury. I like his boxing fights.
Super chat.
But all this shit with John Jones is making me dislike Tyson Fury and making me think, come on, guy, shut the fuck up, or John Jones is going to find you one day and he's going to mop the floor with you. Come on, man. I don't like that shit.
Yeah.
It's enough.
Yeah.
What's he saying?
Yeah.
Patrick C. Hamilton with the 777 super chat. Thank you, Patrick. Says Bones Jones all the way. I agree. I mean, all this Tyson Fury stuff, he just won't stop talking about them. John Jones, Francis Ngannou. It's like, come on, man. You're not actually going to fight them. What are you talking about? It's not happening. Come to the UFC. I would love for him to come to the UFC. That'd be sick. Even if he got his ass kicked, it'd be like, man, respect for fucking trying, you know? But he won't.
Yeah, I agree with you.
He's just going to talk,
It's like,
which I don't like.
Listen, and that's why I always say you got to give respect to guys like CM Punk when he came into the UFC, man. He came in and he did it.
Hangman
But think
Page
about it. He
chopped
still
me in
did
my
it.
neck. Hangman Page chopped me in
You
my
know?
neck. CM Punk's whining to ESPN. I don't know if you heard the latest news about CM Punk. CM Punk apparently has an interview with ESPN that's going to drop possibly tomorrow. And in it, he's whining that Hangman Page was like shooting on him during the match and was chopping him in his neck and face, and he didn't like that. And it's like, hey, man, whatever happened to a receipt? Back in my day, if a wrestler fucking hurt you, you would just hurt them back. You wouldn't go to ESPN crying about it, CM Punk. I thought you were a UFC fighter. The fuck is that?
True. Good point,
Get out of
Dave.
here, man. Yeah, you didn't hear Undertaker crying to ESPN when fucking King Mabel crushed his face and he had to wear that mask, that Phantom of the Opera mask. His orbital bone was fucking fractured because Mabel crushed his face. You know? Undertaker never cried about that shit. The hell's CM Punk doing? Come on, Punk. You're better than that. Take it. Hit him back. If you don't like how a guy hits you, you fucking hit him back. It's pro wrestling. You don't fucking whine about it to ESPN. I felt unsafe. You felt unsafe? You're a pro wrestler. You're not supposed to feel safe. It's a fucking dangerous business. I don't like the way this guy's talking to me. Well, fucking say mean shit back, you idiot. Fuck. I'll talk about wrestling tomorrow night. My disgust.
Oof. You're getting a little emotional there, man.
Well, no, I just like, come on, man. Why are you talking to ESPN about a fucking stiff shot and complaining about it? It's like, fucking hit him back. That's all you need to do. Just hit him back. That's how wrestling is supposed to be. Somebody hits you, you don't like it, hit them back. And if it turns into a bit of a fight, so be it. If you win or you lose, whatever. Fucking have at it. That's what the match is there for. You're in a ring. Sometimes things get heated. You don't fucking get mad, pout about it, and then go talk behind the guy's back and do interviews. Like, what? I hate that shit.
Yeah.
Shankface wants to go. He says, is no one going to mention Khabib for GOAT? And then Angelo says he didn't fight for a long time, Shankface. I think that's true. I think, Khabib was one of the best ever, but didn't dominate the sport over the long period of time with the title defenses that John Jones did. And that's why I'd put Jones over Khabib. But Khabib, of course, one of the best ever. You can't take it away from him, but I would say John Jones is the best ever.
Khabib's
he's on the top three greatest.
Angelo knows what I'm saying about the Punk thing. Like, come on, man. I don't want to hear that. Sorry, Fred, you were saying?
I was gonna say for Khabib, like, he didn't defend the title enough. Like, that's the biggest knock against Khabib. We like for the end of the last couple of years of his career, he wasn't very active. One fight every year, like, and not enough marquee moments. So Khabib, a great fighter, probably the greatest lightweight, but he's, as far as like pound for pound greats, he's behind John Jones. He's behind GSP. He's behind Anderson Silva, I think. Even though Anderson Silva had some downs at the end of his career, his highs were much higher than Khabib.
Yeah.
And even Jose Aldo's highs were maybe better than Khabib's.
I'll tell you what, I would put Amanda Nunes over Khabib, too, in the greatest of all time discussion. Look who she beat.
Yeah, I know, but still, man.
What? Dude,
like
Amanda Nunes, man, is going to go down as like one of the best fighters of all time. Like, the shit that she did, ridiculous. Crazy career.
Yeah, no
Who
doubt
should
about
fight
it.
for
Amanda
the belt?
Nunes, I was going to say Amanda Nunes, no doubt about it, Dave. I agree with you. But Khabib, it's hard. I'll give you John Jones as being number one. Number two, George. 3, Khabib. But, man.
Yeah, I might put Khabib over Anderson, but it's close. I put Fedor over Khabib. Fedor is really the greatest Russian fighter of all time. Okay. Amanda Nunes,
Fedor, man.
Look at the record of Amanda Nunes. Look who she beat. Look how long she dominated for. Double champ, defending up and down, 145, 135. You want to talk about pound for pound greatest of all time? God damn, man. Amanda Nunes. She doesn't get enough respect because, she's in the women's division, and people, when they think greatest of all time, for some reason, they're looking at the men. But goddamn, look at Amanda Nunes. She might be the greatest of all time. Like, I'd say John Jones, but I would put Nunes in that discussion probably over Khabib, just based on, to me, you get points for defending championships. You get points for staying champion for a long-ass time. And Amanda Nunes did that. Khabib, Amanda Nunes, she said it on Saturday night. I just tied Anderson Silva's record here tonight, 10 title defenses, and that is meaningful. 10 title defenses, the pressure that goes into a title fight. You're fighting the top people that are gunning for you. They're studying you, and they're studying you for years. When you're champion for a long-ass time, there's an entire division that has grown up watching you and trying to figure out how to beat you, yet you stay on top of them and keep beating them. George did it. Anderson did it. Amanda Nunes did it. Khabib didn't do it for that long. Like, Khabib wasn't the target on top of the division for a very long time. He had a short reign as champion, and I think that hurts him long-term when you think of the historical run and greatest fighters of all time. I think you look at Khabib and you go, well, he didn't really face the pressure like some of these other champions did, and they maintained. Like Israel Adesanya. Look at the title defenses and losing and then coming back and beating a guy like that. Says a lot to me. It says more than, beating Gaethje and Poirier and then calling it a day. I think Khabib needed to do more. I love Khabib, but
I mean, he's great, man. But
but I think when we really look at greatest of all time discussion, I think, you look at the accomplishments of everybody, and Khabib will be, I think, lower on the list than you might expect in like a few years. When you really look at it, it's like, Well,
I've said it. I think Jose Aldo's highs are better than Khabib's. Like, Jose Aldo's run was incredible.
Yep.
Anderson Silva's run at the top was incredible. Fedor's run at the top was incredible. John Jones, GSP. So I already named 5 guys, and I didn't mention Demetrius Johnson.
Oof.
There's a lot of guys that, like Khabib's probably a top 10, but he's in that second half of the top 10.
Yeah, but all those guys that you mentioned, and I'm not going to take away from Aldo, I'm not going to take away from Fedor because he's one of my favorite fighters, growing up, and you cannot deny how much of an impact Fedor was. But all these guys got touched. All of them got touched.
Yeah, but
they all got
if
lost.
you go away,
and
retired early.
He retired
Yes,
so
but
early, man.
Yeah, but Anderson Silva is. Yeah, you're right. I agree with you. Khabib retired early, but he did say he was going to retire early. But one thing with Anderson Silva, if he would have stepped away from the octagon earlier, he would be up on the top 3, in my opinion. But he got touched, and then he got touched, and then he got touched again. And it takes away from.
I think you got to analyze the championship years. If you're going to talk greatest of all time,
I agree with you.
You got to analyze the championship run they had. Fedor's championship run in Pride and all that was incredible. GSP, same thing. John Jones, same thing. And Khabib had a great run as champion. He beat Conor, and then he defended against Poirier and Gaethje. Am I missing another title fight? It's only 3 title fights. You know, that's not that much, man. You can't be in the same discussion as guys like Demetrius Johnson, who defended I don't know how many times his title, but way more than 2. There's levels to that. And Khabib being undefeated is his biggest argument, but he retired early, man. If you wanted to be higher on that all-time list, you needed a couple fights extra.
Yeah, retired early, never fought Tony Ferguson when they were supposed to fight. That big fight never really happened. And that would have been a real test for Khabib at that point in time. And he never, was able to make it to that fight. And I think Khabib loses some luster after the years go by and after you really analyze who everybody is and what everybody's accomplished. And again, like the years on top, I think count for a lot. When you look at Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson, you don't think about, oh, well, they lost a bunch at the end of their career. You go, yeah, but the fucking peak of their career when they were kicking ass, they were the greatest. You're like, wow, they were amazing. So, when you look at Anderson Silva, you're not going to look at, oh, well, he lost to this guy and that guy. You're going to say, yeah, but fuck, remember when he kicked Vettori in the head? Remember Forrest Griffin? Remember Stephen Bonner? Remember when he was fucking people up? Like, that's what you remember. And over time, because you're going to forget about the losses, you're going to think, wow, the great moments, the highlights, they were fucking incredible. And Khabib doesn't have as many.
Yeah, but with Anderson Silva, I agree with you. You're always going to look at like highlights of his wins. But with Anderson, he should have stepped out earlier because you're always going to remember Anderson for breaking his fucking leg in half. And that's what you're going to remember. And you're going to remember who he lost it to, Weidman. And you're going to remember that. And that's the problem.
So,
let's not forget that's the highlight that everyone's going to remember, in my opinion. And you know what? I think Khabib did step away, but Khabib was only about him. Khabib's presence carried over to his team that no other fighter can claim that. Khabib's Dagestanian warriors carried on to different organizations throughout the world, and these guys were always on top. And that's what I'm saying. Khabib has something that most of those guys don't. That guy's going to be he's one of the top coaches right now. And he's got a crazy team. Well, he'll be back. And the thing with him is that he'll be back. Khabib, you can't keep him away from the sport too long.
Well,
that's the difference, Dave.
We could talk about the greatest fighters of all time forever, but we've got some fights to preview. We've got Marvin Vettori and Jared Cannonier coming up Saturday night. It's a pretty solid middleweight fight between 2 former title challengers. Vettori coming in minus 123, the favorite. Jared Cannonier plus 100, the underdog. I love that number on the fight because I'm very much going with Marvin Vettori. I think Marvin Vettori is a far cleaner striker, moves way better, is 10 years younger than Jared Cannonier. Jared Cannonier's got some crazy power, but he's not going to knock out Marvin Vettori. Vettori's got a good chin. Vettori can take a shot, man. He's been in there with the very best, and I think this is like a slam dunk. I think Vettori wins this easily. I don't know how. I don't know if he finishes Cannonier because Cannonier's tough, but I don't think Cannonier's going to be able to put the power on Vettori. That 10-year age difference, it's going to make a difference. I think Marvin Vettori, just the movement and the speed, will be too much for Cannonier to catch up with. I've got Vettori in a big way on Saturday night. Like that's my That's my big pick, and I love the odds. Minus 123 only. I think Vettori should be a heavier favorite, so I'm going heavy on Marvin Vettori on Saturday. Freddie, you look like you disagree.
Well, I'm going to pick Vettori also to win. I think the odds are okay because look at Cannonier's record, man. The guy lost to Adesanya, Whitaker, Reyes, Blachowicz, Teixeira.
True.
Those are all like killers. Like there's no shame to losing to those guys. And he's got some decent wins, Gastelum, Derek Brunson, Sean Strickland, Jack Hermanson, Anderson Silva he defeated even. So I don't know. I expect Vettori to win because I think he's a better athlete. He moves better. And I'm going to go by decision. I think he's going to probably dominate, but not be close to finish. I expect this to go 5 rounds and Vettori to win 49-46, something like that. That's my prediction.
Sounds about right. I'd say 50-45. I think he's going to win all 5 rounds. Decision Vettori. AJ, I know you're going with Vettori, right? You said it last week.
The Italian dream, man. It's hard to go against him, man, because the guy, if you look at his overall record, like 7 of his last 9 fights, he's won. And Cannonier hasn't done that bad. He's won 6 of his last 8. The only difference is the grappling game. I don't think Cannonier, mind you, he has a 64% takedown defense, but I don't think that's going to be enough against a guy like Vettori. Vettori, man, when he goes to the ground, he's just going to devastate Cannonier. 39 years old. How is he? 39, man. It's going to be a tough ride. And when you look at Vettori's record, man, most of his fights go to decision. But half of his victories have come by submission. So if this doesn't go to the decision, there's going to be a submission of the night, and it's going to come from Vettori. I think Vettori is going to be too young, too strong, much bigger guy. He has less reach. I think he has a 3-inch less of a reach over Cannonier. But, one thing with Cannonier, he can knock you out. There's no doubt about it. He has a lot of wins by KO or TKO. But he's going up against Vettori, man. And Vettori, is just going to be too overwhelming for Cannonier on this fight. So if it's not a submission, he's going to get a decision.
All right. Well, I'm looking at Bet99 right now and trying to put together a parlay, but I feel like they don't have all the fights up here.
And he's only a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, Vettori. Okay. Vettori's a brown belt and Cannonier is a purple belt. Does that make a difference? That's what I'm saying.
I don't think it's going to be a fight that it's not going to be a jiu-jitsu match.
This fight to be standing up, yeah. These guys are going to be trading, and I think Vettori, if anything, Cannonier's a little flat-footed, and Vettori's going to be moving better and connecting much more.
I don't know if I'm missing something here, but Bet99.com doesn't seem to have all the odds for the fights here on Saturday. There's some fights that I think are happening that they don't have, which is fucking up my parlay because I wanted to take Pat Sabatini, but he doesn't seem to be on this card.
Pat Sabatini, man, he was like the prospect.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Be a tough fight for him.
Maybe they're updating the odds on something, but
that's going to be a tough one, Dave.
Yeah, maybe I won't go. I didn't know too much about his opponent. His opponent looks pretty tough.
Yeah, Mina he's your classic Brazilian jiu-jitsu like beast, super aggressive. He won his first fight in the UFC. I mean, this guy.
Well, forget it then. I'll just give you fights that Bet99 has because what the hell. I'm gonna give you a parlay right off the bat. I'm gonna start it off. I usually make you guys start, but I'm just gonna give you a quick and easy parlay. God damn, I actually don't have anything. Let's just give you Marvin Vettori. Can I just give you Vettori? $20.
I wanted to go Vettori by decision, but the odd is not even that good by decision, so I'd rather just go with Vettori by the win.
Yeah, Vettori to win. 20 gets you 128. Minus 123. What can we do? Can we do Vettori?
Zakurian's such a favorite, it's not worth putting on it, but Zakurian's going to win that fight.
Yeah, Zakurian's a gigantic favorite. Vettori by decision plus 128. Yeah. You could go with that. I'm trying to give you another fight than Marvin Vettori. Sarukian. I guess you could go with Sarukian over Silva because he's a gigantic favorite. It'll add a little value, but not much. I'm not gonna go with any of these other guys. Jiminy
go with
Flick.
Bukakis Modesta, man. Wasn't that the guy you?
Modestas Bukauskas. Yeah, I think I might go with him. But Zach Pauga is actually kind of tough.
But he's disappointed you, Dave, a few times.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Modestas. All right, what the hell? I'll give you Tsarukian and Vettori. Co-main and main. Tsarukian, Vettori, minus 102 parlay. 20 gets you 39.67. It's a terrible payout. Deal with it. That's all I got. I gave you a winner last week. This might be a winner this week, too. I mean, what the hell? It's not a big winner, but it's money in your pocket. Who are you to refuse? Fred, what do you got for me?
I got Vettori. And since I have to parlay it, man, I'll go with Zaglas Zumagulov.
Oh, Zumagulov over Miguel Felipe Bunes da Silva. Okay, so there's a Team Fred parlay.
Double Z.
He's going with Starvin Marvin, and Zalgas. $20 gets him 58.73. He's going to be starving tomorrow when he's got a weight cut. I'm sure he's starving right now. He's got to cut weight in the morning. He's starving Marvin right now. Right now, starving Marvin. 20 gets you 58.73 for the Team Fred parlay. Marvin and Zalgas. AJ, you got something ridiculous for me?
Hey, listen, man, don't diss AJ because AJ is the winner out of most of the fights between you guys.
I mean, not last week. Not last week.
Well, last week was a tough. Yeah, it was a tough one. But listen, I'm gonna go with Starvin Marvin as well because the Italian Dream is gonna pack it in. Like I said, I think it's gonna go to the distance, which is typical of Vettori. Mm-hmm. But a submission is possible, and if anything happens, like I said, 50% of his victories are by submissions. So Marvin Vettori for the win. Then I'm gonna go with the Armenian train, man. You know what I'm saying? I know the Armenians, and let me tell you, Armin is a beast. This is ridiculous. Like, anyways, no offense to Silva, but there's going to be too much to handle. I think Armin is going to be like out grappling him, maybe out striking him, but the ground game is going to be relentless. And you know how this guy, he doesn't stop. He keeps going and going and going. It's ridiculous. So Armin for the win. Then I'm going to go with the other Armin with an E, Petrosian, former elite kickboxer. I think it's going to be a showdown. I think Duncan is coming in with an 8-0 record, man. So it's going to be tough. It could go either or, but I think the experience by Armin, and if he keeps to his kickboxing game, he'll be able to take out Duncan. Then
who's Duncan?
I'm going to go with the Christian Leroy Duncan. Is just 8-0 record, man.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Armin Petrosian versus Christian Leroy Duncan.
Yeah,
I have Armin Petrosian against Christian Leroy Duncan.
Yep.
What the hell is that?
I have also.
I don't have that on my Bet99 card though.
No,
you don't?
Okay.
I mean, listen, man.
You got to give me shit that I can fucking bet on, AJ. You're not looking at Bet99, motherfucker. Get it together.
Listen, motherfucker. Well, listen, man. If it comes on. Listen, the favorite is actually going to Duncan.
I don't know
but
who you're talking about. Well, he's not on the card. Next.
Okay,
I don't
motherfucker.
care.
So then I'm going to go with Lucas Almeida, man. I think Pat Sabatini is amazing and all, but
he's not on the card either. Skip. He's not there.
On the card either.
Skip. No.
Fuck, man. Regardless, I'm still putting down Lucas because it's going to come on.
It'll probably show up on the website. I don't know why Bet99 doesn't have half these fights. I don't know.
And
AJ, call your buddy.
Fuck, I'm going to have to call
Figure it out.
And then you got Muslim Salikov. I'm surprised you didn't go with him, Dave.
I don't have him on the card.
You don't have him on the card?
No, I don't have any of these fights.
So then go with what I just gave you, man. It's a 3-fight parlay for AJ, which
it's a 2-fight parlay. All you gave me is 2 fights that I have. What? It's the same parlay as I gave you. It's Tsarukian and Vettori. Yeah, but I told you Petrosian isn't on Bet99, so I can't put it on your parlay. So then
you know what?
Parlay.
You got Jimmy Flick. You got Jimmy Flick there?
Yeah.
Okay, put down Jimmy Flick. I'm gonna start going into preliminary.
There you go.
Jiminy Click is in my opinion, gonna win this. I can't believe I'm going into the prelims. You know how I feel about going into prelims.
To see you, Jiminy Glick.
And
Remember that guy,
Then-
Jiminy Glick? It was a Martin Short
Oh, it was so
character.
funny,
It was
man.
a TV show. It was good.
So
The
funny,
movie
man.
was actually better than you might expect. I liked it.
It was.
Anyways,
It was super funny,
I like
man.
the Jiminy Glick
Martin
movie.
Short, man. One of the best Canadian actors, man, or comedians.
All right.
And then I'm going to go and give you another one just because I can't leave it at 3 and I can't leave
Why
it at
not?
4.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you Christian Quinones. He's 18-3.
Okay. I see it.
And there we go.
There.
You see it? Why are they there, man?
I don't know why half
The
these
fuck?
fights aren't there, but it's really frustrating for me because I'm like
So then go with AJ's parlay. You're
trying
going
to
to
do
win.
parlays, and I can't do the parlay for you guys. But AJ's giving you a million fights. Here's 4 of them: Vettori, Tarukian, Flick, and Quinones. 20 gets you 205.84. Jeez, I'm gonna bet this parlay. What the hell, AJ? I want to get rich with AJ. Bet responsibly. AJ's
It's
off
not
and
bad,
running.
man. It's I'm kind of surprised it's that high of a payout, man. Jump on that.
Is
Holy
that Jiminy
shit.
Glick?
Okay.
Jiminy Glick pays out plus 210. Big
I'm
underdog.
surprised.
You went, well, I mean, have you seen the guy? He's a little.
He's 16-6, and Alessandro Costa 12-3. I mean, yeah.
I mean, I would not bet on this guy to win a fight.
Jiminy Click, man. Do it.
Would you take this guy in a fight? That guy? Come on. He's winning no fights. This guy? Jiminy Glick? I don't think so.
He's a little sweaty under the armpits.
Yeah. See,
Look at
this movie, Martin Short is Jiminy Glick in La La Wood. This was actually not bad. I liked it. It takes a big man
It is
to
funny,
cover
man.
this town. Jiminy Glick. What a character.
The
What
legend,
a
man.
character. Yeah. If you don't know Jiminy Glick, I mean, you missed out. You know what a talent.
Is he there with what's his name? The Borat
Ebert
guy.
or Siskel?
No, Ali G, man.
I
No,
think
he's
it
with
was Ebert.
Siskel. That's beef. Yeah,
Ali G.
Siskel and Ali G, man. I see Ali G there.
That's not Ali G. That's
Oh shit!
I don't know who that is.
It looked like Ali G, man.
Wayans brother.
No, it isn't.
To his right.
I don't think
To
so.
his right.
Is it
No, I don't think so. I
the
don't know
best,
who that
man?
is.
The way it.
All right.
Look at this guy. What a handsome man.
Yeah.
So listen, man.
There's your
Before we end
parlay.
it, man.
Jiminy Glick. Goodbye. I'll be back tomorrow
See you
with
later,
Johnny to talk pro wrestling. As you could tell, I'm mad a little bit about CM Punk and his like just bitching to the media again, always bitching. And we'll talk about AEW. Dynamite was actually pretty good last night. And AEW's got a great pay-per-view coming up next week. Forbidden Door. Pay-per-view looks fantastic. MJF versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega. Kazuchika Okada versus Bryan Danielson. Jungle Boy versus Sonata. Like, they are fucking packing this thing. Zack Sabre Jr. looks like he's going to wrestle Orange Cassidy, I think. They are really stacking this Forbidden Door pay-per-view going down next weekend in Toronto. AEW's got AEW versus New Japan. It's a very cool concept, and goddamn do they have some cool-ass matches for next weekend. So, pretty nice, pretty nice. We'll talk about Forbidden Door, and we'll talk about CM Punk's return, which is Saturday night in Chicago for the debut of AEW Collision. WWE's got a bunch of stuff that they're doing. They're doing Dominic Mysterio versus Cody Rhodes at Money in the Bank. Fred, did you hear that? Did you hear what I just said?
Cody Rhodes and who?
Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, I read that.
What the fuck? Well, that's
Freddie's
going
not
down.
thinking about that.
We'll talk about that tomorrow night here on Wrestling Uncensored on the Ringside Report Network. AJ, did you have a final word? I feel like you had something to say before we left.
I was gonna say, listen, it's the Montreal Canadian Grand Prix happening this weekend. Like, and I want to know Freddie's pick for who he thinks is gonna get the win, man.
I mean, Max Verstappen has dominated the season, so he's gonna win again. We're in June.
I think I agree with you.
And the championship is pretty much decided already. So.
No, I agree with you. Max is there, man. I think he's gonna
Sounds
probably
like the
pull it
AL
off.
East.
But man, Lewis, every time he comes to Montreal, he does so well. There's one thing with Montreal, Lewis Hamilton always can try to find and pull off a win. So he's not too far back, man. So it could be between Sergio Perez, Hamilton, And I agree with you. Verstappen, I think might pull it off again. But it's going to be a great weekend starting tonight. The festivities are happening, man. Montreal Grand Prix, man. There goes UP. UP's down. UP's down.
Man, fuck the Grand Prix. I don't give a shit about that. Stupid
What, you
Grand Prix.
motherfucker?
All
What
these
a
jabronis
NASCAR's
trying to
off
get
this
it down.
Dave.
Father's Day.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. More importantly, Happy Father's Day. Fuck that Grand Prix. Bunch of jabronis. Yankees blew another one last night to the Mets, losing an extra inning. They were up 3-1, and of course they lost 4-3.
It's the Mets, man. What do you expect?
The Mets actually
Greatest New York
suck.
team.
They actually are terrible this year, but the Yankees still managed to split a series with them. They won one, they lost one. The Yankees have gone 5-6 in their last 11 games, under 500 without Aaron Judge. All those losses, all 6 losses, one-run games. Every single one, they've lost by 1 run. Over the past 11, the 6 losses they've taken have all been by 1 run. And I can't help but think that if Aaron Judge was in the lineup, he'd count for some of those runs, and we would have won a few of those fucking games. But without Aaron Judge, without Bader in the lineup, this team is not hitting, and we're losing all these games by 1 run. Since Judge went down in L.A., they've lost all these games by 1, and it's just so frustrating to watch. Thankfully, they're not playing tonight, so I got a break from the fucking rage that I feel all the time when they're playing.
Your blood pressure, man.
Oh, fuck. You have no idea. Like, I like wrestling, and I like MMA and everything, but I don't know what it is. This season, like, I'm obsessed with the Yankees. It's all I can think about. It's all I want to do. I just want to watch the games, and then I just get so mad because they're fucking it up so badly. And they should be winning these games, and they're not winning these games, and it's really annoying. And they're going to Fenway Park tomorrow, so, hey, it always sucks when the Yankees lose to the Red Sox, so fuck. I hope that's not happening. So I really hope the Yankees beat the shit out of the Red Sox tomorrow, and all weekend long, just a fucking whooping. Sweep the Red Sox in Boston. Get a little redemption for me, Yankees, please. It's fucking hurting. We're all hurting. The Yankees fans are hurting right now. And I don't think, I think the AL East, the pennant is out of the question. I don't think the Yankees are going to win the East. I think the best shot we have is getting a wild card spot, but even then, it's like tentative at best. It's really not clear. So the path to the playoffs right now is not even there. I don't know. It's going to be hard to catch Baltimore for second place now. It's not just hard to catch the Rays. It's going to be hard to catch the Orioles, which is fucking depressing. So, come on.
You know what's depressing? I'm going to tell you what's depressing. I'm depressed today because Italy lost against Spain 2-1, man, for the Nations Cup.
Soccer.
It was
Talk about a real sport next time, please.
You don't know what you're talking about, Dave. But I'm going to tell you something. That was a rough one to swallow this morning or this afternoon. Anyways, at least they got up there, man. So the finals is going to be Croatia versus Spain for the Nations Cup, man, and it's going to be a
Nations Cup.
It's another major.
Is it?
Yeah,
another
man.
tournament they invented to make money out of.
Never heard of it.
Great teams, man.
Never heard of it. Nations Cup.
Yeah, but of course, man.
A fun concept.
It's not the World Cup. I don't know what the hell that is.
I don't know.
Never heard of it. Just all sorts of
Canada
countries.
won too.
What do you mean?
Instead of
Wow.
having friendlies, exhibition matches, the last couple of years they've had this Nations Cup. So over,
It's really exciting, man.
they're divided by their coefficient. So they're basically like in a group of 4, I think, and they're competing with those 4. And now, if you're the winner of that, you could go to a higher group. And anyways, the highest group has Spain, Croatia, and Italy. I guess I'm not even sure.
Is France in this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
probably, but they might
didn't
not
make
have done well.
Yeah. The last 3 were
So it doesn't
like,
matter, really. If
Well, it does
Canada's
matter. Of course
winning
it
and
does.
France is barely in it, is it a soccer tournament? Does it really count?
Yeah. Don't be a hater, Dave, just because France is not there.
Well, come
Don't
on.
be one
If
of those
France
guys.
isn't involved and Canada's winning games, I question the legitimacy of the whole thing.
Well,
No,
the
but
next World Cup,
Canada's not in
Canada
the
will be
same
there.
group.
Oh, they're in like a shit group?
Yeah, and I think it goes also by
By the
by
nation. Like,
continent.
So what are you
Yeah,
celebrating
exactly.
here, Angelo? Canada winning over Honduras or some shit? Like, who cares, man? Come on, bro.
What?
Who really gives a shit? Oh, Canada beat
Angelo,
Costa
get
Rica
him.
in soccer. Okay, so fucking what?
Get him, Angelo.
I mean, really?
It's Canada, man.
It's not like Greece winning the Euro or anything. They fucking win a match that no one cares about against some fucking country that has, maybe 2 million fucking residents, and they're somehow competing with
Greece-
Canada at soccer.
Greece
Come
beat
on.
Portugal twice in that tournament, man. Greece beat.
But as I always
Portugal
said,
twice.
real soccer is club soccer, and Italy went 0 for 3 in finals this year in European Cups, so Italy kind of blew it. Inter
How about
Milan
that,
lost, Roma lost, and Fiorentina lost. They all lost their finals. They all
Inter
suck.
Milan.
No.
Everybody. Fuck, man. It's a tough one to swallow, man. But the good thing is, Ringside Report, even though Dave doesn't know this, we support the Bows, man, in Ireland. The Bows, #1. That's for you, Wally.
Angelo says Canada is a soccer country. Is it?
It is. He's
I mean,
right,
we got
man.
Alphonso Davies, and I hope Alphonso Davies signs with Real Madrid, man. Real Madrid just signed Jude Bellingham for like crazy amount of money, this 19-year-old. It's fucking time for Real Madrid to stock back up, get some big players, get back as Europeans' top team. Fuck Manchester City.
Ooh, that's harsh, Freddie.
I know they won.
That's
man, but
harsh.
fuck that, man. I wish we had Haaland.
I have no idea what you guys are even talking about. I'm so like, what? I don't know what you're saying. I didn't realize Canada was a soccer country. It doesn't feel like it to me, but maybe
We're
I'm
doing
wrong.
good right now. We got some good players, man. The
Okay.
Canadian was the best scorer in the French league there, Jonathan Davids or whatever his name is. He was the best scorer.
The lead
in
singer from
French
Korn, Jonathan Davis.
league. Yeah, something. Dave
AJ
Vids.
doesn't know who I'm
Vids.
talking about. He's laughing anyway.
Like
No,
Dave
I know.
Vids
I
in the
was
Nets.
watching Woodstock '99. I saw it, man. I saw Corn.
Oh.
I had to go. I had to go watch it after our whole spiel the last time.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a soccer. I don't know much about soccer, but I didn't realize Canada was so soccery.
Well,
Never
listen, man.
knew.
In the next World Cup, man, Canada and the U.S., man, we're gonna be there. We get a bye.
Yeah, but weren't they in the World Cup last time? Canada made the World Cup, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, this is a victory." It's like, okay, and then they were in the World Cup. They didn't win a game, and they're like, they played kind of well. This is
They
a
played
victory.
well.
And I was
They
like, you
played
didn't even
well.
win a game. You didn't get out of group stages. Don't celebrate this. Celebrate when you actually make it to like the quarterfinals. Then that'll be an accomplishment. As far as I'm concerned, if you fucking make it to the World Cup once in like 60 years and you don't get out of group stages and you don't win a game, that's not really an accomplishment worth celebrating. Maybe I'm too harsh. Maybe I'm too harsh a
Yeah,
critic,
you are harsh.
but I celebrate actual victory, not just showing up to the tournament.
So
Am
you're
I
one of those
wrong?
guys like.
Am I wrong? I don't know. I don't think I'm wrong. Well,
You're a little
fine.
harsh. I
How
might
about
agree
this?
with you on that.
Canada, you want to celebrate fucking Canadians? Canada went 7-0 at UFC 289 in Canada last weekend. 7-0. Every fucking Canadian or
True.
Canadian associated fighter, anybody born in Canada or training out of Canada, every single Canadian fucking fighter, everybody representing our country won at the UFC last Saturday. That's an accomplishment.
Dave.
That's
Good point.
actual victory.
Oh, Canada, Dave.
Give me real victory, I want some
Number
shit
one,
that I
man.
can actually cling on to. Some shit that means something. Not like, hey, we showed up. All right, good for you. We tied.
#1 now.
Yay! We didn't lose by 3 goals. Yay! What? What is that? I don't like that shit. Man up! All right. I'll be back tomorrow night, 10 o'clock with Johnny. I'm feeling mean. It's going to be mean. It's going to be a mean show tomorrow, all right? It's a mean weekend.
Poor Johnny, man.
We're getting mean. Urgh. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us here. Thank you to Patrick C. Hamilton. You are the Super Chat leader over on YouTube. Support the show over at join.ringsidereport.net, join.ringsidereport.net. Thank you to our members, Angelo, Patrick, Harold Schneider, I saw, Alice Shanks, everybody else joining us and supporting the Ringside Report Network. I see you, Eagle999, over on Rumble, enjoying the show, chatting it up. Thank you to everybody on Rumble, Kick, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, all the things. All right. Thank you. It's the Ringside Report Network. We'll be back, all three of us, next Thursday for more MMA stuff. All right? All right.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.